Anshuman Das is a well-known expert in the field of nutrition-sensitive agroecological farming and food system. He was instrumental in standardizing integrated farming system in India for smallholder farmers through an all-India coordinated program by Government of India called BioFarm. He is currently with Welthunger Hilf and teaches agroecology in university.
Basically, we need to improve dietary diversity and, of course, reduce the micronutrient deficiency and all this. So one thing that I wanted to focus in this slide is much of the rural India's food intake is basically starch based. So that is, we had done a kind of a census study in Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, part of West Bengal and Jharkhand. So it revealed that even if the people have space to grow nutrition garden, the land remains fallow and most of their dietary intake is basically starch based. So that is another important reason to bring in nutrition garden into this, into their entire farm profile or entire livelihood basket. Next. Yes. So we will basically through nutrition garden will try to utilize all the possible space that is there in the backyard, in the front yard. We will try to include not only crops but also backyard poultry, goat rearing, whatever possible. So major focus is definitely to look into the dietary diversity, and a good design of nutrition garden will also ensure that people will have some kind of green vegetable intake throughout the year. So it, if you design it very well, if you plan it very well, every day there should be some amount of food flow in your kitchen from your garden. Next, please. So my next few slides will be basically on this, on the design principles. So on the crop, we will definitely try to include fruit vegetables, leafy vegetables, legumes, tuber crops, spices, and some of the medicinal herbs. Poultry and livestock rearing, if possible, of course, we have to include. It has to be own seed and own input. I mean, in the name of, making them food sovereign, we shouldn't make them dependent on the market for buying food input. So a good gardener should also need to know about how to grow her own, own input like compost and pest repellents and keep their own seed. And of course, recycling household waste, whatever is coming out of the kitchen, from the house, the gray water, everything has to be reused. So the energy is recycled within the system itself, making it almost a zero input ecological system that way. Next. So I will, next please.
Idea on water management.
Yes, so I will basically try to discuss about few ideas. So water management is a very important idea. So I think you know about keyhole garden. Keyhole garden, you can see in the picture that it's at the center. I mean, there is a space where you can throw your kitchen waste, you can wash your hands there, and by the gravitational flow, the nutrient from that, it's a kind of a compost pit actually. The nutrient from that center composting area, the water and the nutrient flows downwards. So it is basically a circular garden. Keyhole garden is a very useful design in dry areas. Next. And similarly, there are, next slide please. Yes, similarly there is ideas like pitcher irrigation. So you know, when we give water, before this please. Yes, this one. So so the left side picture is of a pitcher irrigation. So you know, when you give water, when you water the plant, We water on the top surface. So, but the plant drinks water from its roots down below below the ground. So most of the water that we give is basically evaporated. So, so I think you have to stay in that slide. I mean, it's very difficult for me to follow. I mean, if you change this so often.
Yeah, so this slide is fine, right?
No, but this is not the slide I'm speaking about. Please go back.
This one?
Go back. No, this one. Please stay here. So I will speak about, I mean, I will tell you when to change. So left one is the pitcher irrigation. This is a technique that has been used by many. So it is basically a pitcher which has many holes, and you are basically watering on the pitcher so that water is released at the root zone of the plant. And the right side is basically mulching. You are covering the topsoil so that it is not exposed to the sunlight. It not only helps you to hold water in the soil, but it also helps you to reduce जितने खरपतवार होते हैं, it helps you to reduce that also. So it can also be through dry mulching. You can do it through dry leaves. You can do it through wet leaves. Even living mulching is also possible. If you use plants like pumpkin, plants like sweet potato, it covers the soil very fast. So mulching is another important technology in the small nutrition garden to prevent water loss. Next. So another idea is basically dealing with the crops. So you can, as nutrition garden is basically of a very small space, so you can actually, without spreading it horizontally, you can also spread your garden vertically. So you can actually intensify in this way. So like shortest plant towards east and tallest plants towards west, so that you get maximum sunlight in the nutrition garden. And crops of different families has to be mixed together, and you have to use techniques like intercrops, relay crops, mixed crop, etc. Next. So here I'm showing various techniques like you can use your fence to grow crops. I mean, like various type of fence. You can have various designs of trellis. Trellis is a very common traditional practice, but trellis can be of various types. So, and you can also use your wastewater, which is coming out from the tap you are using. You can also use your wastewater. So it is only about being a little bit innovative on how can you use your resources, how can you intensify your gardening area. Next, please. Yes, so even if it is places like Sundarbans where you have flooded, you have flood area, so you can also grow vegetables in the sack, in the drum. I have in the raised bed. There are a couple of models which is shown here. I mean, you can even in a land which is completely drowned in the water, you can little bit raise. You can develop a platform and do plants like pumpkin and bitter gourd and all this, which can grow above the grow in the trellis. So it is not always required to have kind of a space. So I mean, you have to be innovative to make your garden, make your crops give some space. Next. Yes. So another thing is, of course, integrating trees. Trees like papaya, moringa, banana are some very important trees. Trees can also go in the next, please. The trees can also grow in the fence area as well. And of course, pest repellent has to be made at home. It can be as simple as, next please, is as simple as ginger chili, wood ash, neem leaves, and other things. You have also have to develop your own manure. That will reduce the cost of production. Also, you'll get poison free food. Biogas, there are also schemes from the government on biogas. Biogas also be included within the kitchen garden itself. Next. So chicken shit, goat shit, cow dung, everything can be used. It is not very important to use whatever the experts are saying, whatever is available at your place. I mean, like any leaves which are smelly, any leaf which if you break, if that gives a milky substance, any leaf which tastes bad, you can mix that together and make your own pest repellent. So you have to be you need not follow exact prescription what the experts are saying. You have to observe what are they available around your garden, what is available in your village, and you can make use of that. So you have to use vermicompost is a very important component, and which is not very difficult to develop in the garden. And extra extra earthworm also can be fed to chickens. So that way you can actually close the cycle. That way actually you can make one component of a garden to dependent on the other component. Waste of the one component can be used as input of the others. Next. So integrating livestock. Yes, even you can see on the right picture, some of this is from Nepal. So some of them have also tried kitchen fisheries. So they are growing even in the plastic ponds, they are growing fish, which is required for their household. As well also can be cultivated. You can also include beekeeping, mushroom cultivation, etc. Next. And when you think about integrating livestock, so a couple of ideas. Like your goat shed has to be very clean, and the cow shed, waste from the cow shed can be used very well in the garden. And if you go to a rural household, you will see the goat shed is probably the most dirty place in the entire living area. So goats and cows also need some clean areas. So please take proper care of them. And I have also given some suggestion of what kind of food they need. Next, please. And chicken can be very destructive to garden, but if you can manage very well, if you can manage desi chicken well, maybe in a net or maybe in a cage, I mean, it can be very fruitful. So the sketches that you were seeing, we are basically, we have a concept called LAN. I think this has already been spoken by many of you, linking agriculture, natural resource management with nutrition. So we have PLA sessions and farmer field school on land and nutrition garden aspects. So these sketches are basically from those modules. So this module has also been used by Jibika, by Ajit Premji Foundation, by Living Farms, by many organizations now. So yeah, so it's very difficult to speak about entire gamut of the technical aspect of nutrition garden, but these were some of the suggestions that you can think when you were designing a garden. It's not very difficult, but surely it needs to be a little bit innovative.